So, welcome to Supply Chain 600 Seconds. Today, we will talk to Anders Bartolin from consultancy firm Langebaek, who's been around for 40 years, actually, something like that. We will talk more about Langebaek, but can you first introduce yourself, Anders, please?
Yes. Thank you, Stefan. My name is Anders, as you just said, and I've been with Langebaek for the last 8 years as a consultant and a partner within the company. Langebaek is a Danish-based consultancy firm that has, as you said, been in the business for more than 40 years. And as I said, I joined 8 years ago and have a background within logistics and supply chain management and as logistics director in different companies. And joined Langebaek to set focus on more on, you can say, implementation projects and warehouse and automation implementation has been my core part of it. But of course, Langebaek is much more, and I think we'll come into that later on in the interview. But more or less the focus on that part. So based in Denmark and working also a long time in Sweden on different projects and implementation projects. So that's short on my background.
Yeah. And now you have also opened an office in Norway, I heard.
Yeah, just here post-corona, we opened an office. We saw the value of going more into Norway also. So now we are present both in Sweden, Norway, and Denmark with offices so to have local presence and in the different markets in the Nordics.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a bit more about what you deliver in your projects, both in terms of supply chain and logistical contribution, but also in terms of value creation?
Yeah, you can say we have different elements that we offer to our clients. So in principle, we start a lot of our projects with a pre-study or pre-analysis, going into a mapping of a current situation and advising our customers to the next step. So that can be normally 5-10 years development plan within the logistics. So advising strategic approaches for our customers in terms of supply chain and logistics. So that's normally how we start projects. And then after that evolves into more implementation of projects. Also, if we go for warehouse automation, warehouse implementation and building design. And there where we create value, I would say, is a bit of actually having these external view and critical inputs to the decision makers at the companies, seeing what has other been doing, what are the market trends, and also giving that input in an early stage to make sure we make the right decisions from the beginning. And that's where we add a lot of value in the start of these kind of projects. So more strategic advice from the beginning, going on to a more operational implementation of projects.
So what do you see as the most important challenges that your clients face today? We know all about the COVID now and the e-commerce that is growing at an extreme pace and so on. But are there more trends and challenges beyond this?
I can say that, of course, it's quite difficult. The situation we're in right now, this COVID situation changed a lot of the approach, especially for e-com. But if we step maybe back a couple of years, you can say one of the key trends have, of course, been moving more to automation, and that was mainly larger companies. We have done a lot of work within food retail. So if we take food retail, for example, that has been a huge focus area in a lot of countries in the Nordic and also mainland Europe, I would say. To automate that process, but that you can say that's the fully automated trends, saving cost per collie and optimizing that part has been the focus post or pre-COVID, I would say. Then the times changed now that of course the e-com had I will not say a boost because that was there also before, but even more during the last year, I would say that the boost has been there on the e-com. So I would say the trends there are also that I would say again, smaller mid-sized companies are looking into to optimization their supply chain and also the the automation part of it. So I think that has been one of the key trends that we see right now on that area.
And you work with all kinds of clients, as you almost upon now, with small to really large ones, like big retail companies and so on.
Yeah, you can say our portfolio is quite wide, and also now this you can say this interview is done in English, but focusing also on you can say more the Swedish market, and I've been working in Sweden for the last 6-7 years. And in Sweden, Langebaek has focused mainly on, you can say, automation, project management, project implementation. But if we look at Langebaek as a group, we are doing projects from all sizes of customers also, and that could be helping smaller companies just optimizing their stock, their purchase volumes, their slotting on the warehouse itself, the ABC categories, and adding value there because we have that competence. And there we're talking about maybe a 50-employee company that just want to optimize their performance in a current warehouse. And then up to big implementation. But the focus in Sweden has been a lot on implementation projects and larger projects. But that's, I would say, more a coincidence than it's actually been a strategy from the start. We look at our company as a whole. So for us that we are in Sweden, we have Swedish consultants. But it's also important for us that we use the know-how we have, for example, in Denmark and now in Norway. That it's not mandatory for us that it has to be a Swedish consultant. It needs to be the right fit for the job. So yes, it's been a coincidence that we had these bigger projects, but of course that's where we started the market in Sweden around 10 years ago when we actually entered in Sweden, working out of Denmark. But I would say it's more or less that also there's difference in the market both in Sweden and in Denmark. I would say Sweden is much more mature in going for automation. I would say that's more history-like from a production point of view, where Sweden has been more focused on production environment, automation, and so on. Denmark is a bit, I'll not say behind, but a bit, they are a bit behind in maybe that involvement. But also I think, given e-com size of the market, the Swedish market is doubled, more or less doubled the size of Denmark. Of course, there's a better foundation to implement automation also of that, just from a cost perspective. So of course the projects are bigger in Sweden. That has been the history.
We will have a separate talk about automatization and some trends within this and in the market. But do you see clearly now that automation is something that smaller companies are doing more and more, not just the e-com, but companies in general in groceries or industry and so on?
And I think again, then we have to define what is automation, what are processes, and so I think we see more and more that it's wrong to call it smaller companies, but mid-sized companies also optimize their supply chain and optimize their logistics. Some of it through automation. We see different solutions from a highly automated solution, but also maybe a semi-automated solution. And I think that's where this skill set that we add in the pre-study phase and say, should we go for a fully automated solution? Should we go for a more semi-manual solution? I think that's there where we can see that a consultancy like us or our colleagues in the business to say that also can add value to these processes. What should we go for? What is the growth strategy for the company? What are the segments they want to work in? Because that's that dialogue, we can say, as I said earlier, in a quite early phase of the project, and define and tailor-make the right solution for that customer. So yes, more automation also for other companies, to answer your question, Stefan, but I think it's also to make the right solution is the important part. So maybe it's not automation for everybody, because that's not our mantra, and I think that may be a misunderstanding that, for example, who Langebaek is. It's not our role to say automation. It's our role to advise the customer the right solution.
Sounds wise. Can you tell us if you would give an advice to a company that thinks about hiring consultants and getting as much value from it as possible? How would you think and advise them?
I would say that there are different parameters that are important for of course, because again, here we know some of our customers has a huge experience within different areas. We also know that some of our other customers, they say, we are doing this for the first time. We have never done a move of a warehouse. We have never done a change of the layout. We have never done an automation. So they say we need a skilled set of help that can help us make this transformation. So I would say there we have this that where we can add that I can say that value to the project is going in and see we've done this before. We do several of these projects. We can support with our knowledge and our skill set in the organization, and that helps. You can bring in the organization up to a level, but it also helps the organization actually to focus on also the core business. I think it's quite obvious right now. For example, we're going into a Black Week period here in November for a lot of our customers also. And the focus in these organizations, they are 110% operations. We need to deliver. This is our core business. But if you bring in, for example, help, then there you can also make sure you can run projects at the site at the same time as you focus on operation. And I think that's where we see a lot of the value we add into these projects.
Before we end, Anders, would you like to name drop some of your clients, or is it a secret who they are?
No, it's not a secret, but I think it's important that we are in a lot of different markets, and if you go for food retail, there we are working with two of the biggest food retailers, and that's not ICA. So of course that's within food retail. 2 automation projects in Bålsta and in Eskilstuna for Coop and Axfood. And then we are working a lot with a customer up in Vansbro called Lyko, doing cosmetics and beauty products. Of course, that's the reference about Black Friday and Black Week, doing their solution, helping them implementing new warehouse technologies and so on. And then the reason for not naming all of them is that we have a vast variety, but we also have some of our clients that are confidential, that has our inputs on a strategic level. So that's why I'm not naming them right now. So yeah.
That's okay. I think we got an idea, but
yeah,
these 3 examples were quite big companies, all of them. Yes. But there are smaller ones, as you said before.
Yeah, but again, I would say, to be very honest, also in Sweden, we have a long track record with Elgiganten, for example. We've worked along with them. We made Elektroskandia's warehouse in Örebro. So just to name these customers, they are big customers. It's big warehouses. It's 10,000 plus square meters where greenfield projects where we were helping the customers and doing a project management for these projects. So it is bigger projects, as I started saying, in a lot of these projects that we are supporting in. Not saying that we don't want to help smaller startups or something, but it has been the name of the game right now in Sweden, and a lot is happening, a lot is ongoing, and I think we will talk about trends and so on later, Stefan. But I think a lot is going on. So right now it's to make sure we are there for the customers and can help them, and that's our mantra. We want to be there. We are a long-term partner when we go in and support customers. It's not just a quick fix and then we out. We want to support our customers going forward.
Thank you, Anders Bartholin,